You still think that if you sit in air conditioning, hold a coffee, type fast, and say a few smart-sounding things, you are somehow above the people in work boots. That might sting, but wake up. I'm Max. I came from 5 years ahead. And where I'm standing, it is the white-collar crowd sweating over job loss, while electricians, plumbers, and repair techs are so busy they turn work away. The old idea that office workers are the safe class is cracking fast. Not because they got worse, but because AI is getting very good at the tasks that used to pay them. Meanwhile, a toilet that overflows at midnight, bad wiring in the ceiling, or an AC unit dying on the hottest day of the year still needs a real human being to show up and fix it. In this video, I'll show you why blue-collar work is gaining value, why a trillion-dollar robot still loses to a greasy wrench, and most important, how you need to move so you do not end up on the losing side. Right now, you probably have 3 questions in your head. First, how can a plumber end up making more than a programmer? Second, why can AI do so much, but still cannot replace an electrician? Third, if you work in an office, how are you supposed to survive this? Here is the short answer. The market does not pay for titles that sound impressive. The market pays for what is hard to replace, hard to hire for, and getting more rare by the year. I call today's story the day the toilet beat the keyboard. It sounds funny, but it is true in a way that feels cold. For years, people told themselves that if they studied hard, got a degree, and found a clean office job, life would be stable. But what is crushing that promise is not a smarter coworker. It is a cheaper machine, a faster machine, and a machine that never asks for a raise. And the jobs that still get dirty? Messy and real. The ones that need hands, judgment, and presence are the jobs AI is still standing outside of, looking in. Let's start with someone very ordinary. Jason is 29 years old. He lives in Ohio. He went to college, got a job at a tech company in product support, worked hard, showed up on time, and stayed out of trouble. By most people's standards, he did everything right. Jason believed he was on the right track. A few more years, more pay, maybe a house, maybe marriage. Life was supposed to move in a straight line. Then, one Monday morning, he opened his laptop and saw an urgent meeting invite. Nobody had to explain what kind of meeting it was. You know that meeting. 15 minutes later, Jason walked out with the kind of tight smile people wear when they just got hit in the gut. The company did not say he was bad at his job. They just gave him one cold, polished sentence. A large part of the team's work had now been automated. It sounded clean, but what it really meant was simple. The work he used to spend all day doing could now be done cheaper by a system that never got tired. The worst part is that Jason did not mess up. He followed the script people gave him. Study hard, get the degree, find a clean office job with benefits, a badge, and a job title that makes your family proud. But life does not reward you for being obedient. Life rewards you for being hard to replace. And that is where a lot of people are lying to themselves. Very softly, very comfortably, until the chair gets pulled out from under them. That same week, Jason had a pipe burst in the basement of his house. It happened on a Saturday night. Water was spreading across the floor, cold and ugly, making everything worse by the minute. He grabbed his phone and searched for help. A plumber named Miguel showed up about 40 minutes later. Miguel climbed down, looked around, let out one breath, and named his price, $200 an hour. Jason swallowed hard, then agreed right away. No bargaining, no debate. Because in that moment, he did not need a presentation. He needed someone to stop the water from wrecking his home. Do you see the slap from reality now? During the day, Jason got pushed out of his job by an invisible system. At night, he had to open his wallet for a tradesman he might never have called a dream career before. One skill lived on a screen. The other walked straight into chaos and handled something messy, urgent, and very real. The market sees that difference clearly. It does not care whether your pride gets hurt. And here comes the part many people do not want to hear. A college degree does not protect you by itself. A clean office chair does not either. In fact, The very thing that made office work look safe. The fact that it is clean, structured, and easy to measure is also what makes it such a perfect target for AI. Meanwhile, jobs that require someone to show up, look closely, touch the problem, and deal with surprises in real time are quietly getting more valuable every day. And this is only the first layer of the story. The next layer gets even more uncomfortable. Now we get to the part that really hurts. Why is AI moving into office work so fast? Because a lot of office jobs, even when they look complex from the outside, break down into repeatable tasks: reading emails, summarizing documents, drafting reports, writing first versions, sorting data, answering the same type of questions again and again. It feels tiring to people, but to a machine, that is a very good meal. Here is the trap. A lot of people think their job is safe because it requires thinking. Not really. If most of your day is spent handling information in patterns, AI does not need to replace all of you at once. It can peel the job apart and eat it piece by piece. Today, it takes 30%. Next month, it takes 50%. Then one day, the company looks at payroll and asks a simple question: why are we still keeping the whole team this big? That is how a job does not die overnight, but slowly gets drained until it finally collapses. But there is another hit, and it is worse. AI does not just replace people. It also makes managers more greedy. That sounds harsh, but it is true. Before, a team of 10 might have seemed normal. Now the same manager looks at one strong employee, adds a few AI tools, and starts thinking maybe 3 people can do the same work. So the work does not disappear. It gets stacked on the people who are left. Pay does not rise much, but speed, pressure, and expectations go up fast. You have already seen this, even if you did not call it by the right name. The people who stay get pushed to work like machines. New people have a harder time getting in because companies do not want to hire and train beginners anymore. They want someone who can start running on day one, handle a bigger load, and work with AI right away. That means entry-level jobs. The first step young workers need to enter the market are getting squeezed hard. And that may be the scariest part of all. Because when the door gets smaller, a whole generation does not just lose jobs. They lose the chance to learn how to grow. Meanwhile, on the other side of the economy, many skilled trades are living in a very different world. Think about it in simple terms. An old house has bad wiring. A heating system dies in the middle of winter. A pipe bursts under the floor. You cannot send those problems by email. You cannot drag and drop them into a folder. You cannot fix them with one clean prompt on a screen. Somebody has to show up. Somebody has to bend down, crawl in, look with real eyes, and make a call in real time. That is why many field jobs are still so hard to replace. Not because they are somehow more elite, but because real life is much messier than a screen. Every house is different. Every system is a strange mix of old and new. Some things break in predictable ways. Some break in ways that are flat out weird. Machines do great in clean environments, with clear data and stable rules. Real life does not work like that. It is half right, half broken, full of risk, and packed with variables. A good tradesperson does not just fix equipment. They read the situation, judge the risk, talk to the customer, and handle pressure on the spot. That is the part that is hard to copy. There is a hard truth here that many people do not want to admit. For years, society pushed young people toward college like it was the only real road, while trade work got treated like some second-class option. Like if you could not make it in school, then maybe you became a technician. That idea sounded polished when people said it. Now it is hitting back. Because when a whole generation crowds into office work, supply goes up. And when supply goes up too much, value goes down. It is that simple. But the jobs that are truly short on workers, truly short on trained people who can stay in the game, those jobs start rising in value on their own. That is why it is no longer strange to see electricians, plumbers, HVAC workers, or maintenance technicians making more than some office workers. It is not some weird exception anymore. It is supply and demand. It is scarcity. It is the result of a society that spent years judging the wrong thing as high value. The hard thing is not the thing that looks clean. The hard thing is walking into a mess and solving it while other people are panicking, and the market is paying more and more for that kind of value. But wait, do not hear all this and swing too far the other way. Like the answer is for everybody to quit and become a tradesperson tomorrow, that would be another childish mistake. Just because you hold a wrench does not mean you win. Just because you work on site does not mean you stay safe forever. Every job will still get pushed by technology. Weak workers, slow learners, sloppy workers, and people who refuse to adapt can still get pushed out. And office workers who shift the right way can still do very well. The real issue is not whether you wear a dress shirt or a work jacket. The issue is what layer of value you actually create. This is the real turning point. In the next few years, the people who do best will not be the ones trying to protect their old identity. They will be the ones who know how to combine two worlds. One side is real skill, tied to real needs, solving real problems. The other side is AI, used to speed things up, cut stupid busy work, and expand what one person can do. People who only have one side will start falling behind. People who can use both will be the ones worth paying for. And in the next part, I am going to give you 3 practical survival moves so you do not get trapped in the middle of this shift. At this point, a lot of people start getting uncomfortable because the truth is not about which job looks cleaner, sounds smarter, or feels more respectable at dinner. The truth is about which job stays closer to a real human problem. A company can delay hiring one more person to write reports, but a family cannot delay fixing a wall with sparks jumping behind it. A business can force one office team to do twice the work with AI, but it cannot ask a broken AC unit in the middle of a heat wave to negotiate with customers by itself. Real life does not care which job sounds high status in your head. Real life pays the person who can stop the headache when it hits. And that is the real flip that many people still do not want to face. A whole generation was taught to run toward jobs that looked clean and stable. But the jobs that looked the most stable may have been the easiest to standardize all along. Meanwhile, the jobs that looked rough, dirty, and exhausting have been holding a different kind of power. The power of showing up at the right moment, doing something real, and making chaos stop. Once you understand that, you stop asking which job sounds impressive. You start asking whether you are standing close to real money, close to real pain, or just sitting close to a chair that can be taken away. All right, let's talk survival. First move. Stop looking at your job title and start looking at your actual tasks. It sounds simple, but very few people do it honestly. Sit down and ask yourself what fills your day. How much of it is repeated work? How much of it follows a pattern? How much of it is data entry, routine replies, document cleanup, or moving information from one place to another? That is your danger zone. Not because you are useless, but because machines love work that is clean, clear, and repeated over and over. This step is not about panic. It is about waking up. Once you see which part of your work is easiest to automate, you finally have a chance to move before someone else moves you. The smart people in the next few years will not be the ones saying, "My job is special." They will be the ones honest enough to spot their weak spot early and fix it before the system forces them to woad. Sounds harsh. Good. Harsh is better than getting an urgent meeting invite one morning and acting shocked when the floor disappears under you. Second move. Build a skill stack that AI cannot swallow whole. I am not saying everybody needs to quit tomorrow and go straight into the trades. I am saying you need to move toward real value. If you work in an office, get closer to customers, revenue, operations, negotiation, problem solving, or anything that needs judgment inside a messy situation. If you already work in a skilled trade, do not stop at using your hands well. Learn how to quote faster, manage your schedule better, read information better, and use AI to cut dead work and expand what your brain can handle. Do not pick a side. Combine both sides. Third move, stop building your life on fake safety. A lot of people choose jobs because those jobs sound good to other people. But outside approval does not pay the rent when the market shifts. You need to move toward places with real friction, real customers, real pressure, and real problems. Places where, if you disappear, people notice fast. That is where your value becomes obvious. And when your value is obvious, you get leverage. You can ask for more money. You can ask for a better role. You can create more freedom. Without that, you are just wearing a polished title and waiting for somebody else to decide what you are worth. At the end of the day, this is not really a story about plumbers beating coders or work boots beating office shoes. That line is catchy, but it is too shallow. The real story is that the market is stripping away illusions very fast. It is asking each person one brutal question. Can you solve a real problem? Or are you just sitting inside a pretty process and pretending that makes you essential? It hurts to hear that, but this is the right time to feel that pain. Early pain can still save you. Late pain usually costs years of your life. So if something in this video made you uneasy, good. That feeling has value. It means you are waking up. Do not panic. But do not sit still either. Look again at your work. Look again at your skills. Look again at whether you create real money or just create the appearance of being busy. And if this video hit the exact nerve you have been trying not to name, subscribe to the channel, because here, I am not here to comfort you. I am here to point at what is coming before it hits you in the face. I'm Max, and if there is one thing you should remember after this video, it is this. The future does not reward the most obedient person. It rewards the person who sees how fast the rules are changing, then changes before the world forces them to. That is the difference between the person who survives and the person who gets pushed out without even understanding what happened. In the next video, I am going straight at a question that may feel even worse. Which white-collar jobs are likely to disappear first? And why so many people who think they do knowledge work are really just feeding the machine that is learning how to replace them? That one will not be easy to hear, but it will be worth hearing. For now, leave one short comment. If you had to change direction tomorrow so AI would not pin you against the wall, which skill would you keep? And which skill would you drop first? That answer may say more about your future than the degree hanging on your wall.